Hello. How are we doing? I gotta fix my camera. Hi, I'm Keith. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I'm the meditation teacher here. Hey, Pat. Um, and on this channel, Meditation Breaks, we learn how to meditate and we learn all the different types of things we can do with meditation. So, hey, Rob. So maybe you're coming in here and hey, Lucia, and it's your first time meditating or you haven't done it in a really long time, chances are you're here to kind of de-stress, to relax, which is great because meditation is wonderful for that. But there's so much that we can do with meditation. And so on this channel, even though we always start with an introduction to meditation itself, we are very topic focused. Right? If you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, I just don't know, I don't know anything about meditation, don't worry. This is a great class for that. And actually, our theme today is a very practical use of meditation. So I think it'll be good for newcomers and not newcomers alike. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Okay, so before we get started, if you do have any questions, anytime, you can type them in the chat and I will answer them as soon as I see them. You don't need to wait for me to say, oh, does anyone have any questions? It's always question time here. Or if you have a comment or something like that, you can use the chat. You see some people already using it. If you do not want to do that, or you are not comfortable doing that, or you think of something you wanted to ask, but after I've signed off and I'm gone, you can email me. I'm going to give my email to everyone towards the end of today's session. Okay. Let's talk about what meditation even is. We hear this word a lot. It's actually really cool. Even over the amount of time that I've studied and taught, which is probably like 13 years, it's like, it's become so much more of a like known thing, meditation, which is amazing. When things become a little bit more known, in the old public eye, sometimes it can get a little muddied as to what actually this thing is. We hear mindfulness, is that different than meditation? All these different things that are kind of probably top of mind if you're interested in looking into maybe starting a meditation practice of your own. So when we think about meditation, almost instantly an image comes to mind. And that image is somebody sitting cross-legged on the floor with their eyes closed, right? We all know that kind of ubiquitous image of somebody meditating. If you were to Google meditation, that's literally all that would come up. And so it's very easy to be like, well, okay, in order to meditate, I sit on the floor, cross-legged, of course, and then I close my eyes or whatever, right? So we start to associate meditation with this image. But that's just a seating position, right? Meditation, at least in my opinion, others may have a different one. There is no prerequisite body position you need to be in to meditate. Meditation is a activity of the mind. Right? There are benefits for sitting in specific ways, perhaps sitting upright, a little more alert, but sitting down cross-legged with your eyes closed doesn't equal meditation. So if that's not the definition of meditation, then what is? Here on this channel, I like to put forth the definition that meditation is a technique you can use to become familiar with something. And you might be like, that's weird and not very helpful. I know. Because it's kind of vague, because there's a lot you can do with it. And we don't really go around saying, I'm familiarizing my mind with how to go to work or how to replace a board in my deck. Like, we don't think that way, right? But that's exactly what our mind is doing each and every day, every passing moment. Our mind is becoming familiar with things, good and bad, right? It kind of doesn't, it works both ways, essentially, right? So if we think about physical familiarity, I think that's a little bit more tangible, something to wrap our head around. And then we can kind of take that definition and apply it to mental familiarity. So, what's something you're really physically familiar with? Maybe, I don't know, jumping. I mean, jumping is actually is kind of an interesting one, right? Because we don't actually practice it that much these days. I don't know, unless you're like a professional jump roper or something. I don't know. But my days are not really filled with a lot of jumping. And yet, I can jump without even thinking about the mechanics of jumping. If you were like, "Hey, Keith, jump," and I like couldn't question it, I would jump. I would instantly do it, right? So this is a kind of cool example of when something becomes really, really familiar to you. It sticks with you, right? It's this. It starts to become like almost like a part of you, second nature. We don't have to think as much about the mechanics of jumping or tying our shoe or walking or whatever thing that we're really familiar with. It just kind of happens, right? And this was not the case when we were born. I don't know if I don't know, maybe there's some like home videos of you as a kiddo or something. Your first time you tried to like jump up and down, it probably went like this high off the ground, if that. Sometimes you just like move your legs, right? Jumping with a granddaughter. I mean, hey, it's great exercise. Professional jump ropers are in great shape. So this kind of activity of jumping, this body motion, whatever you want to call it, this action, it was not always second nature to us. When you were a kid, if someone was like, "Hey, jump," you'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do." So over time, with practice, a little bit of jumping here and there, right? Much more when we were younger, right? This thing that was unknown to us and then really unfamiliar to us and then required a lot of concentration to do is now second nature. So even Rocky. I won't hum the entire song. Okay, so this is just one example. Everything that you are like, you can think about your life. All the things that we've learned follow this cadence. They're unfamiliar, and so they require a good amount of concentration or effort, and then they become really familiar, and they require less so. Hey, Joan. It's my mom. So what is this like? Why is this even worth talking about? Because we can do the same thing with our mind, right? Mental familiarity behaves the same way as physical. So if we think about something like being relaxed, that's probably a good portion of you. That's why you're here. And we may think that meditation relaxes me. When I meditate, I'm relaxed. Meditation equals relaxation, right? But meditation is not doing that. What we're doing with meditation is, if we want to do this, we are becoming really familiar with relaxed you, this kind of version of yourself that's in there You know it is. You've seen it. That is relaxed. We're not creating relaxation. You're to have it. It's in you. You already got it. We are just using meditation to become so familiar with being relaxed, say, that that kind of persona, that relaxed self starts to show up more regularly without as much effort, without as much concentration. It's sort of our default, right? Wouldn't that be nice? And like I said before, it does work both ways. So if we think about something like frustration or anger, if you want to like take it to the next level, like getting annoyed, right? We don't have to try to get annoyed, right? Nobody's ever said, hey, hold on a second. I need a moment so I can get really annoyed. Like no one never says that, right? It just happens. You know, we're having a great day. Somebody says something, we're annoyed. And this isn't because we're kind of predisposed to being angry or something. It's just that our mind in the course of our life has probably had a lot more practice getting annoyed than being really patient. Right? These are kind of like opposing forces. Frustration, patience. This show is like an illustration of kind of what we maybe don't want our mind to be really familiar with, but it still illuminates the possibilities, the truth that our mind can learn to become really familiar with something. And then once it is, it sticks with you. Right? And so here on this channel, we're using that definition of meditation to start to have you be able to choose, what do you want to be familiar with? What do you want your mind to be so familiar with that that thing just kind of shows up? Kindness to yourself, to others, gratitude, patience with others, yourself, you know, all of these wonderful qualities. We can use meditation to cultivate those, nurture them. Okay. Sounds great, right? How do we do it? When you start learning to meditate, almost always they start with breathing meditation. Breathing meditation is a meditation on your breath. All meditations follow kind of the same principles, more formally kind of known as single-pointed concentration. You're essentially deciding to focus on one thing so exclusively that all the other things that your mind is juggling. What I got to do for work tomorrow? Oh, I'm kind of hungry. What was that noise? I got an itch on my leg. All these things that our mind is being pulled to think about, they start to fade into the background. Have you ever been in the zone, like at work, you're working on a document, lose track of time, forgot to eat lunch? Or maybe don't. Maybe love eating lunch. Can't wait. Noises in the office kind of feel like they've faded. They're not gone. They're still there. They're the same as they always were. It's just that there's no room for them in our mind. And when we do this, when we single-pointedly focus on something, we give ourselves the opportunity to gain a deeper familiarity with that thing. We start to glean some subtleties about it. And natural byproduct is we relax a little bit, right? Pacify our mind. Our mind is constantly juggling a million things. And when we give it the opportunity to not do that, it can result in us feeling relaxed, which is great, right? So we're going to do some breathing meditation here together. It's going to be short, about 5 minutes or so, not very long. And it constitutes 3 steps, right? 3 major steps. The first thing we're going to do is choose to do this. Sounds unnecessary, I know. But we accidentally have meditative experiences. We talked about like being in the zone at work. We want to start to cultivate this to show our mind that we can do this when we want. Right? And so we're going to set an intention. All that means is you say something like, you know, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to focus exclusively on my breath, and that's it. Right? We're just going to kind of place that idea in our mind. And with that intention set, step 2 is we're going to act on it. We're going to breathe, focus on our breath. And whenever you notice that your attention is no longer exclusively focused on your breath, and that can mean I've been down, I just noticed I was going down this rabbit hole for the last, couple of minutes, or, oh, what was that noise? Right? Everything in between there. It doesn't matter. Whenever you notice that your mind is no longer 100% exclusively focused on your breath, we're just going to say not right now to those other thoughts. That's our little saying here. Those other thoughts are not bad. They are not unwanted. They're just thoughts, right? They're not disrupting us. They're just thoughts, just not now, right? We're in control and we're kind of teaching our mind. We'll get to these later. We can imagine ourselves actually placing them to the side. And then the third step is bringing your attention back to your breath. Choose to focus single pointedly on your breath. Notice when your attention drifts, bring your attention back. That's it. And just because it's 3 steps doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy, right? We're not striving for perfection here. If this is new, especially if this is, new to you, your mind may put up some resistance here because your mind doesn't, it's not used to doing this. When's the last time you took 5 minutes focused on your breath? Maybe 2 weeks ago if you were here with me. Okay, let's do some breathing meditation. You may notice I'm not on the floor. I'm in a relatively comfortable chair. You too can be in a relatively comfortable chair or an extremely comfortable one, or sit on the floor if you want to do that, or lay down, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can sit or lay in whatever orientation feels best for you. Just make sure you're not extremely uncomfortable. Okay, and you can go ahead and close your eyes. This helps with some of the visual distractions that come up. And I'm going to guide us through about a 5-minute breathing meditation. Okay. Whenever you start a meditation, take a moment and check in with yourself. Ask, what is my mind up to in this exact moment? Maybe you're feeling a little tired. You've had a long day. Maybe you're feeling energetic, excited, melancholy, happy. Whatever it is perfect. We are not trying to change anything here. We are just noticing. An observer. Like a researcher in a lab coat, observing our own mind. This is a practice in mindfulness. Mindfulness is an active awareness of your own thoughts on a moment-to-moment basis for the purpose of being able to respond skillfully. So take a moment and check in. Having done that, you can now set an intention, a little promise. And that intention is to focus single-pointedly, exclusively, on your own breath to the best of your ability for the next couple of minutes. Let this promise, this wish, this intention sit in your mind. Become friends with it. Become familiar with it. This is your only task. All other things can wait. For the next few minutes, it's just you and your breath. And with that intention set, you can act on it. Turn your full, undivided attention to your own breath, breathing in and breathing out, very gently and very naturally. There's no need to alter how you normally breathe. Whatever comes natural to you, that's what I want you to do. In and out. Allow yourself to relax a little bit into your seat. At some point, sometimes very quickly, you may notice your mind is drifting. It's starting to think about other things besides your breath. Maybe it's thinking about something you have to do later after this class ends or tomorrow, or something that happened earlier today. Whenever you notice that your mind is drifting in this way, no big deal. We can just say not right now to those thoughts. We will get to them later. Actually imagine yourself placing those thoughts beside you. And with those thoughts waiting patiently, turn your full attention back to breathing in and out gently, naturally. As you start to really plug into your breath, start to focus on it moment by moment, you might notice some subtleties about breathing, things that have always been there, but maybe you've never paid attention to. Maybe you're noticing how the air, it feels cool temperature-wise on the tip of your nose when you breathe in. How interesting. And what about when you breathe outward? That air feels a bit warmer, doesn't it? How interesting. Maybe you're noticing your shoulders rising when you breathe in and falling when you breathe out. Your chest expanding, contracting. Every part of you an active participant in each breath. Single pointed focus can help reveal some subtleties about the activity we're focusing on. Right now, maybe you're finding some subtle interests, subtle joys in breathing. How wonderful. In and out, gently, naturally. This process, choosing to focus single-pointedly on your own breath, noticing when your attention drifts, bringing your attention back. This is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to tap into its natural peacefulness. You are training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. And right now, the only thing that you want to focus on is breathing in and breathing out, gently, naturally. So for the last few moments, just enjoy sitting here with your breath. No need to think about anything at all. Just take a little time for you. Okay. And whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. Welcome back. Congrats. You meditated. You did it. Uh wasn't that wasn't that bad, right? Only 3 steps, but maybe you noticed your mind jumping around a lot. Um this is pretty common because this is uncommon meditation. I'm saying. We this is new for us. It's our mind is extremely used to multitasking. Even if you don't kind of associate yourself with being a good multitasker, you are. You're the best. You're the best multitasker there ever was. Your mind, left to kind of its own devices, multitasks because that's what we've encouraged it to do. Our society has encouraged us to think this way, to move as fast as possible, produce as fast, all these things. Jeremy, thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. Um, Greatest multitasker, Rob wrote right there. um, so if your mind is kind of jumping a lot, sometimes there's a tendency to think, well, I'm not good at meditation. Right. And this is not true at all. We are all equally awesome at meditation. It's just our mind is not used to this. And some people's minds are less used to this than others. Right. And it's a practice, just like anything else, just like we've become familiar with how to jump and walk and all these things and drive a car in our own language. This can become really familiar to us, so familiar that we can do it without much effort, start to kind of relax without much effort. All right. Cool? Okay. Great. So that's breathing meditation. Yay. If you have any questions on breathing meditation specifically, feel free to ask me. But I'm going to move on to our topic for today. And our topic is about our body, right? Hey, Antonio. And specifically, kind of giving our body its much needed break, right? And to do that, we're going to use our mind. We're going to use our mind to kind of relax our body. If you've kind of looked into the oh, Antonio, I'll message you after this, after the session. If you have ever meditated before or kind of looked into any of this, maybe one of the reasons why we're doing it is to help with sleep, right? The meditation we're going to be doing for the second half of this live stream is incredibly good at helping promote quality sleep. It's also really good for chronic pain. And beyond that, it's really good for starting to gain an appreciation and patience with your own body. right? Because our body has a really tough job. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but your body probably has the hardest job ever. Think about what your body's job is, right? Every day you get up, you're walking around fighting gravity, right? Look over here, think about this. What was that sound? Taste this. Like your body is constantly both kind of carrying your weight and responsible for your experiences, right? The senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, tactile, right? Your body is asked to do all of these things all at once, all day. I don't know about you, but that seems like a pretty big itinerary, probably more than 40 hours a week. Right? Yes, processing all the time, right? And then when our body kind of reaches the point where it's like, hey, I need to rest, we're like really tired or like whatever, sometimes we get annoyed with it, right? Like, oh, why am I tired? Right? So, that's kind of interesting because if I had that job and somebody was like getting annoyed with me and I said, can I rest? I'd be like, hey, I've been working real hard, I need a little rest. And so we don't really think about our body in this way. We don't think of it as kind of like this tool in our life, but it is. And it's very easy to kind of get used to viewing our body as like, well, this is what it does. And whenever it has an issue, that's what the heck, come on. So we're going to take this meditation, and this is, if you've ever kind of looked into meditation before, maybe you've heard of a body scan meditation. That's what we're going to do. But I don't really like calling it that because scanning to me like implies that we're looking for something, and we're not. We're not looking for anything. What we're doing is we're just like we're single pointedly focused on our breath, we are going to systematically single pointedly focus on each part of our body. Not each part, otherwise we'll be here forever, but the major ones, right? And we're going to kind of plug in to that area of our body. Think about all that it does for us, which helps develop some gratitude. This is also like some gratitude building built into this meditation. And then we're going to kind of give that part of our body permission to relax. You don't need to know any of this. I'm going to guide it, but that's basically what we're going to do. And the goal here is to just start to kind of appreciate what our body does for us and give it a little spa day, so to speak, right? So, I don't know, maybe it's late by you. Sometimes this is a good one to nod off to. Get out of the covers. All right. So, not that much. I'm not doing that much talking about this because it is a bit of a longer one because, hey, we got a lot of body parts, and so I want to make sure I don't go over time. So let's do the body scan meditation, and hopefully you enjoy it. It's pretty relaxing, I think, anyway. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes. Once again, take a moment to check in with yourself. What's your mind up to? We're not comparing it to before. Before is done. Just now. What's your mind up to now? You can now set an intention. This time, our intention, our promise to ourselves, is to focus single pointedly on our body. Step by step, as we go through the meditation, turning our full attention to each body part. Just let that promise sit in your mind. This is your only task. All other things can wait. And with that intention set, we can act on it. I'd like you to bring your full attention to the area around your eyes. Just the general area around your eyes. Direct your attention towards that. Your eyelids, eye socket, eyebrows, eyelashes, what do your eyes feel like when you focus on them? Heavy, light, single pointedly focused on the area around your eyes. And we can think about all that our eyes do for us each day. From the moment you wake up, your eyes are processing imagery. They allow you to navigate the world. They allow you to experience so much. Nature, loved ones, we can thank our eyes for all that they do for us. We can give them permission to relax. We can imagine this area of our body relaxing and fading away into white light. Totally relaxed. And direct your attention to your ears. What do your ears feel like when you focus on them? Your ears give you the gift of hearing, listening to your favorite music, birds chirping outside, the voice of a loved one, information. From the moment you wake up, your ears are processing, working around the clock. so that you can experience the world. We can give our ears permission to relax. We can thank them for all they do for us each day. We can imagine this area of our body fading into white light. Totally relaxed. Bring your attention to your nose, the bridge, the nostrils. Feel them flare as you breathe. What does your nose feel like? From the moment you wake up, your nose is processing. It's giving you the gift of smell, the aroma of food, candle, smelling the crispness of the outdoor air. We can thank our nose for all that it offers us each day. We can give our nose permission to relax. We can watch as this area of our body fades into white light. Totally relaxed. Bring your attention to your mouth, your lips, your teeth, your tongue. All of the components in the area around your mouth. These parts of our body give us the gift of communication, be it song or speech, the ability to have deep conversations, to laugh, tell a joke. So many incredible experiences made possible by the collection of these body parts. We can give this area of our body permission to relax. We can watch as this area of our body fades away to white light. Bring your attention to your neck and shoulders. So much stress held in this area of our body. These body parts holding up our head, supporting its weight. We can thank our neck, our shoulders, for all that they do for us. We can give them permission to relax and watch as they fade into white light, totally relaxed. Your arms, forearms, wrists, hands, all the way to the tips of each and every finger. What do these areas of your body feel like? The gift of touch. Our hands and arms, they afford us this. Embracing loved ones, creating things. Each and every day, our arms and hands give us this gift. We can thank them for that. Give them permission to relax. Watch as they fade into white light, totally relaxed. Your chest, back, stomach, the core of your body. Protecting so many vital organs. Allowing us to breathe. We can thank our chest, our back, stomach for all that they do for us. Give them permission to relax. They've earned it. Watch as they fade into white light, totally relaxed. Our thighs, our knees, shins, ankles, feet, all the way to the tips of each and every toe. What do these areas of your body feel like when you focus on them? These body parts afford us the gift of mobility, allowing us to move through the world, to experience things through movement, go places that we could not go without them. All while they support the entirety of our weight each and every day without complaining. We can thank our thighs, our knees, our shins, our ankles, our feet, and each and every toe. We can thank them for all that they do for us. We can give them permission to relax. Watch as they fade into white light, totally relaxed. And with each body part totally relaxed, that just leaves our mind. Your mind, the center of all things, the catalyst of each and every experience, thought, behavior. Constantly processing, constantly learning. We can thank our mind for all that it does for us. We can give it permission to relax. It very much deserves it. We can watch as our mind fades into white light, totally relaxed. And with each part of us, body and mind, relaxed, we can just exist, sit here for a little while, being. No goals, no thoughts, just existing. Okay. When you are ready, you can open your eyes. Hopefully you found that to be relaxing. I know it's a longer one. Um, Fortunately, we have a lot of body parts. Unfortunately, that means it takes a while to do this body scan. um, so you might be like, well, I don't. Is that meditation? And yes, it is. Because if you kind of break down what we did, all we were doing was single pointedly focusing on something. And then, if we catch ourselves drifting, we're like, not right now. Meditation, you can meditate on anything, right? And in this particular meditation, we meditate on a lot of things. We meditate on each part of our body. And while doing that, just like when we were focusing on our breath, maybe you start to gain some appreciation, notice some subtleties about these different parts of our body and what they do for us each day. So I really like this meditation. I think it is, it's really good for kind of like unwinding, and also helping to, it's really good for like chronic pain where you can very easily start to kind of get annoyed with your body for the things that it is not doing correctly or whatnot. But overall, this is just another tool in your toolbox. Lucia, I'm glad. Rosa, thank you. Steve, yeah. So if you are someone who has a tendency to have like restless leg or kind of jitter or like maybe anxiety, laying down can actually be really helpful for this, which is why often I recommend, this is a great one to do before bed because it does make you very relaxed and you can kind of just nod off. So yeah, so next time, climb into bed. That's it for today. Hopefully you found this to be enjoyable. If you did, come back next week. We're going to do some other meditation thing. I don't know what it is yet. But It'll be meditation-y. I can guarantee that. Thank you to Jeremy again for subscribing, and anyone who has already subscribed and chooses to do so in the future. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I'm coming up on 5 years of this channel. Isn't that crazy? Wow. And some of you have been there from day one, and I really appreciate the time that you dedicate each week to being here. I love teaching, and I couldn't do it without you, and I have immense gratitude for each and every one of you. Thank you. Lastly, I'm going to put my email in the chat. That way you can email me if you have any questions on meditation, or I do offer one-on-one private instruction. If that's interesting to you, email me and we'll find a time to meet. My email is keith@meditationbreaks.com. keith@meditationbreaks.com. Spelled immaculately, hopefully. There we go. That's my email. Email me if you have any questions about meditation, something comes up, you want to share something, or you're interested in a one-on-one, or just say hi. Oh, thank you, Mom. I'm glad you're relaxed. Thanks again for everyone for being here, and hope to see you all next week. Take care.